inside the plane. We're about to take off in about 10 minutes. A strong Category 4 Hurricane Ian, flying with hurricane hunters, and of course our photojournalist Ivan Gibson, where he's sitting, makes everything is stored away for the flight takeoff. We will send you updates when we can. While we're in flight, we will not have Wi-Fi. Here's a look inside the aircraft. All right, see you in about 6 o'clock.
Fortunate to get a perspective like that.
Yeah,
to be up there with them.
I think they've done 4 Passovers at this
That's
point,
what we
and
told
so
her.
9 o'clock tonight, that's when they're going to land, and you know, after they land, we'll have a report for you and be able to share with you. We have hurricane hunters who are, as you know, are based out of Lakeland, but there's also hurricane hunters in Kessler. Is that right? Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi. And so one of our meteorologists, obviously, on that hurricane hunters mission to see what Ian looks like.
Yeah, and Bobby, of course, the information we get from them is life-saving. It's incredible, you know, what they're able to gather.
Yeah, and that information, like in the age of technology, comes right down through the internet from the plane. So what she's going to give us is the experience of being on that plane.
Right.
And in fact, what I'm showing you now is what we saw from earlier, where we saw a video from one of the guys that was on the plane. He said it was the bumpiest he's had in 6 years of doing this.
Oh, man.
And it was with these thunderstorms that are on. Watch the backside. See this right here? See all that lightning? It was right in there. Right in there is where we think it was. You can see the thunder flashing, lightning flashing, all in the background. That eye is starting to fill in right now. But that data is incredible. That data is what helps us make those spaghetti plots that everybody wants to know where it's going, right? And it also tells us about those winds. So in a case like this, you know, we know where it's going, so we're not really looking at that kind of data for which way is the storm going to go. We're looking for it to know how much wind is in there. But we had to plan ahead because you couldn't be sitting down here and go, well, we'll wait until you know, the morning of landfall and find out how much wind is there before we leave. No, you got to go because the weather just constantly goes downhill very fast, very quickly. But that data is just super invaluable. The forecast tracks from the Hurricane Center because of that have gotten better steadily for the 10 years now. The intensity forecasts, they haven't. If you look at it on a chart, you know, you think you get better at tracking it, but when you look at intensity, it's kind of flatline. We thought this would be at about 130, 140. That was the forecast from the Hurricane Center. It ended up going to 155 mile per hour winds.
Those hurricane hunters, we thank them obviously for all that they do because they are, you know, so brave. They get up, they do that, both of them, you know, in Lakeland and Keesler as well. We do have Mayor Jane Castor giving an update. Let's listen in.
Debris is flying through the air. We were out earlier. I went to one of our ERC sites out on East Columbus to visit some of our teams, and the palm fronds and tree limbs are all over, and that's in really the mildest winds that we could expect associated with a storm like this. So again, please shelter in place. We have yet to feel the direct effects of Hurricane Ian. So we will keep you posted, we will keep you protected, but we want you all to do your part as well and be responsible out there. Next, I will bring up our fire chief and emergency manager, Barbara Tripp.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. As the mayor stated, we have not seen the worst yet. We want to make sure that everyone is safe. Make sure you shelter in place. You should not be out in the traffic, driving on the roads. We have had multiple fires that resulted from down power lines. As the mayor stated, some residents are without power at the moment. TECO is off the roads at the moment due to safety. We do have a number that you can call if you have an outage. The number is 1-877-588-1010, 1-877-588-1010. Now, when it talks about if you have a medical emergency as far as calling 911, you have to think about if the conditions are bad, the first responders would not be able to respond to you. If your power is out, you need to go to our website, tampa.gov/hurricane, to get the latest information on generator safety. You do not want to be exposed to carbon monoxide. Once again, tampa.gov/hurricane. Hurricane to get the latest information about operating generators. If you are using candles, that is against the rules, against the law. You definitely want to be careful. If you have a fire extinguisher, please make sure you have that at hand. There are a lot of danger that's affected with this storm and will take place. We want everyone to be safe, so please, please take care of yourself and take care of your family. Now we bring up Chief Burkhoff.
Good evening. Our officers are doing a tremendous job right now. They're out there evacuating homeless. Just in the last several hours, we've evacuated approximately 30 additional homeless to shelters. And as the mayor and Chief Tripp said, now's the time to shelter in place. And down power lines and down trees are very dangerous. We have a lot of our police officers out there, but if you don't see a police officer, that does not mean that it is safe. So please be extra careful. We've put on social media quite a bit about Bayshore, to stay off Bayshore. Don't be that guy to go out on Bayshore and put yourself in harm's way. That's the last thing we want, is to put our officers, our first responders, in jeopardy by trying to save somebody from doing something foolish. And those are our highlights. Thank you.
All right, anybody have any questions? We expect that it's going to continue to come throughout the night. I can't tell you time-wise when the worst of the flooding is going to occur, but we have already had ample rain, and once that water starts to come back into the bay and the rain builds up, we have been fortunate to be able to continue to empty out our stormwater retention ponds. And so we'll be able to take more rainwater than we anticipated with the original forecast. But we're still anticipating that we will see flooding, and it will be sometime in the next 24 hours.